So what I'm going to do here is take you through how to create a colour and weave effect, so an optical illusion, using a peg plan or a lifting plan as in weave and a specific combination of stripes. So what I've done on a piece of paper or card, this could be directly onto a table, is laid out some strips of paper, coloured paper. 2 contrasting colours is best. And here I've cut them to about 1 centimetre wide, just for ease of handling and so that we can see the effect clearly. And then you'll see along the bottom, what I've done is labelled those 1 to 12, which correspond to the number of squares in this particular design. Yeah, and you'll see on the design or the lifting plan here, this is going to instruct me as to which particular strips or ends I'm going to lift up. And they're also got numbers on them for ease. Okay, so my particular stripe starts light through to dark, light dark alternately, and we're going to work in the same way in the weft direction, so going horizontally. So in weave, this is known as the warp, runs top to bottom of the loom, and the threads, or the paper in this case, across the width are called the weft. Okay. So I'm going to take my first particular sort of colour for the weft, so going across horizontally, and I've got a light colour. So I would suggest you use light and dark to make this easier to start with. And I'm going to now lift in the order of the numbers on this paper. So the close-up of that, you can see I'm going to lift 1, 3, 4, 6, 8, 10 and 11. Okay. So I'll just pop that down there. So I'm going to lift up number 1, number 3 and 4, number 6. And don't worry what the colours are. Yeah, we're just looking at which numbers are which. 8, 10 and 11. Yeah, so they're all lifting. And my instruction here is saying those are the ones I'm lifting up. Okay, so let's pop that across. Let's just press it down. We're going to move then on to the dark colour. So in my case it's a blue, so I'm doing the same colours in both directions so we get a clarity of pattern. And here we're lifting 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, 10 and 12. So we lift up 2, 4, 5, number 7, number 9 and number 10 and number 12. And then pop that strip in, beat it down. Okay. Back to the pale colour. We're lifting 1, 3, 5, 6, 8, 9 and 11. Okay, so strip number 1, 3, 5 and 6, 8 and 9 and number 11. Okay. Beat that down. Okay, so if you're in a loom, we'd be beating this down, making sure these threads are nice and closely brought together. So we now move on to number 4, so the 4th pick. So we're back to this dark colour again. You can see here we're lifting 1 and 2, 4, 6, 7 and 8, number 10 and number 12. So I'm going to lift 1 and 2, number 4, 6, 7 and 8, 10 and 12. Okay. Then we pop back to, so this is alternate. We're now on to the 5th strip across. So we're lifting now number 2 and 3, 5 and 7, 9, 11 and 12. So I'm going to lift 2, 3, together, yeah. Number 5, number 7, number 9, number 11 and number 12. Right. So these are essentially, little peg plans or lifting plans as we'd use in the weave industry, and these would just keep repeating all over a piece of cloth. But we're just doing sort of one small repeat here so we can see this effect, sort of macro scaled up. So back to the blue, and we're on pick number 6. We're lifting 1, 3, 4, 6, 8, 10 and 11. So number 1, number 3 and number 4, number 6, number 8, and then 10 and 11. And you'll notice in this particular combination of lifts in this design that we're sort of mirroring the peg plan, so we could put a mirror across this and it's sort of the same top and bottom more or less, yeah? So sort of you start to feel like where the repeat's happening. So we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah? So you could always move, if you know it's easy to have something underneath here to see what's happening on this particular pick, you could always, you know, mask the rest of the design off to make that easier. So number 7, we're lifting 2, 4 and 5, number 7, 9 and 10, and number 12. Okay, so let's speed that down a little bit. Back to blue. So pick 8, and pick 8, we're lifting 1, 3 and 4, 6. Get your fingers under there. That's not being behave itself. 6, number 8, yeah, and number 10 and number 12. Okay. So there's multiple sort of colour and weave effects. You know, dog's tooth is a really sort of well-known one. Something like a Prince of Wales check is another example. And you know, you can also create, you know, much more sort of complex things like this, or sort of like, you know, entwining circles and really complex sort of all over designs. But certain of these ones are used quite regularly within the industry. But I think this one's quite a nice one to show you slightly a different effect, really. So I'm on to pick 9. I'm going to lift 2 and 3, number 5, number 7, number 9, number 11 and number 12. Okay. Then back to blue again. This time we're on to pick 10 and we're lifting 1 and 2, number 4, 6, 7 and 8, number 10 and number 12. And I find, you know, that I start to get into a rhythm and I sort of predict what's coming next, because especially this one where we've sort of got this mirrored effect, or you might be working just with a twill, which is just a very simple selection of lifts and becomes quite repetitive. You get into quite a nice zone doing that. So we're now on to pick number 11. So if we check, we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So number 11, we're going to lift number 1, number 3, number 5 and 6, number 8 and 9. You could always label these at the top as well as the bottom if that makes life easier for you. And number 11. And then the final one in this particular repeat is pick 12. So the 12th strip to go across, and we're lifting 2, 4 and 5, number 7, 9 and 10, and number 12. Oh, you can hold on to them. Okay, so there we now see quite clearly that effect that we were trying to achieve. And you could just continue on. So if you've reached the top of here, all that happens in weaving is then, you know, you come back down to the bottom. Yeah? So you go back to a pale one and you then start to lift this particular order again. So hopefully that's given you just a little introduction to using colour weave effects, and this is in the case of like a diamond weave to create this sort of, it's quite cool sort of geometric pattern. You could, you know, as you're going along, choose to change a particular colour. So, for example, you know, you might want to make a feature through the middle of here. So when you got to that pick, say, number 7, I could, after I've done, you know, tried it out first, just simply could start to create, you know, you can imagine sort of like might have a bit of an overcheck going on in here, yeah? And this is sort of the type of way in which a designer builds, you know, a whole collection from a simple starting point and then adding in complexity.